nothing to comment on this morning as far as the weather or boats or anything. It's just a beautiful morning here on St. John. Hey everybody, my name is Ron. I am a grateful recovering alcoholic. And welcome back to Disappointing Your Demons. So, haven't made some content in a while. And just again, life comes first, I suppose. But these videos are important, so I try to make them as often as I can. And what better way or a better time to do it than at 6:30 in the morning on a random Tuesday? So today's video, let me first again say that I am not a psychologist or a doctor or a counselor or anything other than just a guy in the middle of the Caribbean who just drank too much. And these are just my opinions, and that's really about it. And also, like, subscribe, and comment if anything you hear in this video clicks with you or resonates with you or just want to say hi. I'd appreciate it. It helps get the message out there. So today's video is about something that I feel is one of the biggest causes of relapse, and that's boredom. So I have been sober now for a little over 4 months, almost 5 months now, actually, this time around. And a lot of people, ask me, like, what do you do for fun? Isn't life boring now that you don't drink? And the answer is no. It's not boring. It's calm, but certainly not boring. Back when I was drinking and back when I was drugging and partying and going into town almost every night and spending God knows how much money every week on booze and such, was it fun at first? Yes. I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun. But what it was more so, and especially towards the end, was just full of chaos and full of drama and full of just things that I think that most people wouldn't find fun, even though it was fun to me. And then definitely towards the end, it went from being fun to being just an absolute freaking nightmare. Not waking up, not knowing how you got where you are, or who you had to apologize to, or what the hell happened. I mean, in the moment, in the middle of it, as I was living it, like, it seemed like normal behavior and everything, but it's really, if you think about it, not normal. I mean, most people don't, sit there and tell stories and say, oh yeah, up until about my 8th shot and 12th beer, I remember everything, and then after that it's all a blank. But hey, it happens. I mean, that's not normal. But I guess my point is that now you get sober and you gotta fill all that chaos and everything with something, because it's basically been a huge part of your life. But you gotta find like a new definition of fun, I suppose. Like, again, going out and partying all the time was my definition of fun. But that definition has certainly evolved over the past almost 5 months, and it, like, my life certainly is not boring. Again, it's calm. Like, a perfect day to me now, like a weekday, is I go to work, which is about as fun as I can make it. I mean, I do love my job, and I love the people that I work with, and I love what I do for a living, so I guess that's important. But I mean, it's still work. But I go to work, do my job, bullshit around with my coworkers somewhat, but just get my job done. And then literally I come home, and for me it's coming home to my apartment and seeing my wife, who I love dearly, and just nothing excites me more than just coming home, seeing her, sitting, having dinner with her, watching some TV. Now, I understand that not everybody has a significant other, and that's a whole nother thing of, probably a whole nother topic of maybe loneliness or whatever. But also, I mean, even if I didn't have, my wife to come home to, I could come home, play video games, but make sober friends, like make plans with them, go out to dinner with them. There's plenty of ways around that too. Like if you are single and you want to, dip your feet back into the dating world, there's absolutely nothing wrong with putting out there that you are sober. You don't have to even say that you're a recovering alcoholic or anything. You just say that you're sober, you don't drink. I mean, it's a lifestyle choice, you can say. And if people don't accept that, or if you feel like that, women out there, or guys, whatever you're into, won't be accepting of that, or if they're not accepting of that, you don't want them in your life anyways. Like, freaking judgy assholes. It's your choice. You don't have to get into it. You don't have to explain that you're a recovering alcoholic, that you have a problem with alcohol. All you have to say is, I don't drink, or do drugs, or whatever. I mean, honestly, that should be a freaking quality, not a character defect that you don't drink. And I know that's not how our society is, but like, I feel more like a red flag is like when people put on their profiles freaking, oh, would love to go out and to the bar or the club and get a few drinks and whatever, party the night away or something. Like, well, okay, maybe, those are the type of people I don't want to be around now anyways. But anyway, yeah, my point is you can tell people that you don't drink, and it shouldn't be a problem. And if it is a problem to them, then those aren't the type of people that you want or need in your life. Also, you save yourself money on some dates. Always go the cheap route. No, I'm kidding, sort of. But yeah, back to what I say. It's making a new level of fun, or changing what is fun. Like, you can do so many things that don't involve alcohol. Like, you can go out bowling, you can go out playing pool, and yes, I realize that they do serve alcohol at those establishments, but they serve alcohol everywhere. Whether you go out to dinner, whether you go to even the movies. Movies nowadays, they've got bars. Like, yeah, let's go watch the new freaking Marvel movie and then drink so much we don't remember it. That's fun, right? No. But then, like other things, like it's perfectly okay to come home and just sit and exist and not do a whole hell of a lot of anything other than, like I said, maybe play video games or watch TV or something. Like, that's perfectly okay. You'll find, at least I find that now after 5 months, and then again when I was sober back up in Boston, that my definition of fun was definitely, for the most part, coming home. And then on like the weekends, I do stuff like outdoors, snorkeling or scuba diving, or back when I was living up in the States and closer to my kids, go out and do stuff like apple picking with them, or and then I did have sober friends up in the States too, and we would do stuff that didn't involve alcohol, but we still had a great time. And I think too, a lot of the whole I'm gonna be bored or I'll be boring, what's that line in that song? If you're bored, then you're boring. It's all in what you make of it. Like, you can be as dull or as exciting as you want to be and still not have to have alcohol. Like, I've had friends tell me numerous times now that I'm literally the same person sober as I was drunk for the most part. I'm just 10 decibels quieter and maybe do a few less crazy or obnoxious things. But for the most part, they honestly say that they can't tell that I'm really like not drinking or that I'm sober, because while I do make these videos and I do, you know, go to AA and stuff like that, like I don't necessarily sit there and preach my sobriety in amongst my friend group or anything like that. It's just how I am. It's just my life. It's just my lifestyle now, being sober. So yeah. And then of course there's the other things that, you know, now that I'm not drinking, like, that I can actually focus on, like little projects around the house, or, you know, ambitions that are, or things that I've wanted to do, but have literally taken up, you know, alcohol and drinking and partying took up all my time, so that I couldn't focus or didn't focus or anything on other endeavors. And how do I put this? It's like so much more reward doing a lot of these things, because I'm not all freaking hungover, or I'm not 3 sheets to the wind, or well on my way to yet another blackout. And I remember doing the things that I do, and it actually feels good. It's actually fun. Like, I'm not just filling my time between bouts of insane intoxication. You know, when you get sober, it's not just quitting drinking. It's a complete lifestyle change. I can understand why, and it was to me too. I've been there. It's freaking scary. It's absolutely scary. Like, you think you're gonna lose all your friends, and I'm not gonna lie, you do. Some people do exit your life, or you choose not to hang around with some people, and that's the unfortunate truth of it, or maybe it's the fortunate truth of it, because a lot of those people you don't need or want in your life anyways, especially if they're the ones enabling you or encouraging you to engage in extremely self-destructive behavior. And it's okay to tell people that you are not comfortable doing some of the things that they want to do because you're not drinking. All of it's okay. And a lot of it, I found, is actually in our own heads too. I'll just give this for an example. There was a birthday party that I was invited to on Saturday. And, you know, A, it being St. John, and B, being the crowd of people, I knew there was going to be a lot of alcohol involved. But also, this person that was having the birthday party is a good friend of mine. And also, all of my friends were going to be there, and a lot of them are people that I play poker with. And I knew there was going to be some people there that weren't drinking, but not a whole lot. So I was nervous. My head was going in a million different directions of, you know, why I shouldn't go. I mean, I want to go, but I shouldn't go, and I can't go because I'm going to be tempted. And there's so many things going through my head. And I ended up talking to my sponsor about it. And he said something. He goes, okay, so, you know, you're nervous, there's going to be a lot of drinking, whatever. Why can't you just leave? If you go, why can't you just leave? Or if you feel tempted, why can't you just take a walk and collect yourself? And I knew back in the back of my head that was definitely an option. And he said, you'll be surprised of how people are going to react or treat you or think about you at this party. And I was also worried that everybody there was going to be pressuring me to, like, oh, you know, you're here at this party, have a drink, have a drink, have a drink. And you know what? Damn it, he was right. I got there, and everybody's got a drink in their hand or whatever, and they all say hi to me. You know, there's hugs and handshakes and everything. started, mingling. And yeah, I was a little awkward because, alcohol did take away that social awkwardness. It's part of why I drank. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But you know what happened is, I think a lot of it has to do with that I am, vocal about my sobriety bit. But everybody there was, because a few people have seen these videos and they were like, oh, that's cool and you're sober, oh, that's great, blah, blah, blah. And they're all, yeah, they have a drink in their hand or whatever, but they're all like, hey, good job, you're doing great, it's so glad to see you healthy and that you're doing really well. And all very supportive, but the thing that really impressed me or got me was that everybody at the party, hold on, car bar just going by, I gotta pause it. So the one thing that impressed me or that made me feel really good or, got me out of my head or whatever you want to call it, was that everybody at that party, especially, the ones that knew that I was sober, kept asking me like, hey, you got enough, you got enough like non-alcoholic drinks to drink? You want a soda? We got plenty of ginger ale for you, or ginger beers. And to the point that I'm not saying that it's a whatever, but to the point that it was almost annoying. But that's a good thing. Like, it just means that my friends are looking out for me. And also, when I came to one thing that I did was kind of dangerous. Like, I don't recommend doing this necessarily, but I don't want to come to the party empty-handed. And what do you do? What do you give for a gift for a 50-year-old guy? Like, I don't know. But like, I know, like, again, everybody's big drinkers, so I got him a nice bottle of vodka. But I bought it, and it didn't bother me to buy it. And the reason that it didn't bother me to buy it was because I knew I was giving it away. And also, I'm good in my sobriety. Like, if I had just been a month into my sobriety, I wouldn't have done that for sure. I don't necessarily recommend doing it, period. But like, I didn't know what else to get him, so I got it. I gave it to him. But like, again, it wasn't a temptation for me to sit there and drink it because it was a gift. I was giving it to somebody, and so I'm not going to be a shitbag and buy a gift for somebody and then drink it on them. Maybe back when I was drinking, I would have, but I don't know. I don't really know how to qualify that. It's just not a good idea necessarily, but it's what I did. But it wasn't a problem. It didn't end up being a problem. But my whole point in that party story is that, like, literally 99% of my fears were all in my head. And I went and I enjoyed myself. I also brought a big thing of like pre-made coffee at the store, and I carried that around. So having that in my hand most of the night too prevented people from coming up and asking me if I want a drink, because they don't know what's in that bottle. I could have poured half a bottle of Bailey's in there for all that they know, and I'm just sipping on it all night. So that's another thing that prevented them from people from asking me if I wanted a drink of any sort. But yeah, anyways, it was all in my head, and I remember talking to my sponsor the next day and telling him how it went down and what happened, and he was like, yeah, see, he goes, most of our fears are in our own head, but yeah, I had a good time and made it through, and I drove myself there, but I always knew that there was always the option that if it got too hairy, if I started getting in my own head and thinking that I wanted to drink or something, I have the tools to get myself out of it, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with just leaving, up to and including just doing the old Irish goodbye. Just walk right the fuck out. You don't have to, and you're not obligated to stick around to anything. That's the thing, another thing that's kind of universal with us alcoholics, is that we're kind of people pleasers, and we want to make sure that we don't, like, let anybody down. And I think in reality that our friends would rather be let down and us leave and be healthy and stay sober than feel like that they were part of the reason why we picked up a bottle again. I can almost guarantee you that. But yeah, so the party went well, and you can do things like that when you're sober. I mean, you want to have some sobriety under your belt for sure. You want to have the tools, you want to have ways of getting out of it. But yeah, you can do stuff like that when you're sober. So it doesn't have to be, and it's definitely not all boring. It's not like you just, oh, and another person, I think I said this before, they said that they don't know how to act around me now that I'm sober, or what they can and can't invite me to. And my response to them was, I'm sober, I'm not a monk. Like, I didn't join the freaking priesthood. You know, it even says in our literature, in the big book, that, you know, we are not saints. We just try to live a sober life and bring our message of recovery to other alcoholics. That's really it. It's like not some cult. And that's another thing too. AA meetings. People think that, oh, AA meetings, oh, I gotta go to these meetings all the time, and they're, you know, boring people telling their stories, and oh, it's an hour out of my time. You know what? They're actually pretty fun. Like, hearing the stories that people tell, like, and the way that they tell them is, you know, you get a good speaker at an AA meeting, it's entertaining. Like, because a lot of the bullshit that we used to pull, it's sad, but it's funny as fuck, man. Like, to hear some of the antics that we get ourselves into, it's freaking hilarious. And some of my best friends now are people that I've met in AA. And again, we're not saying we have a grand old time for ourselves. We're just sober. I mean, that's the bottom line. Like, we're trying to make our lives better. We're not trying to be miserable all the time, sitting around, oh, boo-hoo, poor me, oh, I can't have a drink. Like, yeah, no, it's more like, I can't have a drink, but look what I can do sober. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's really all I got on the topic. I could probably go on for another 20 minutes, but or an hour about like my day-to-day routine or all the things that I do to entertain myself, but I won't, because I guess you know, I'm sure you guys get the general idea of what I'm trying to get across today. But yeah, you know, just because you're sober does not mean that life is boring, or that life has to be boring, or that any number of things. You know, it's exciting, and you can do it with clarity and not feeling sick, and you'll remember it. That's the bottom line. You'll remember it. All the milestones, all the fun times, they'll all be clear in your head. And also, one last thing is that it's okay to embarrass yourself. Like, don't be afraid of that. Like, do the goofy thing, you know, the stereotypical guy at the party with the lampshade on his head. You can do that sober. I mean, I do some pretty crazy shit sober. But, and, you know, you gotta learn as a human. You're trying to be part of the human race again. You gotta learn how to interact sober. You gotta learn how to not be anxious around people sober. Because it's all part of life. Life on life's terms. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for watching. You know, again, hit the like and subscribe button, leave a comment, and I hope you all have a blessed day.